let's get back to this thing. I grabbed the torch and ran it over here, got the hoses all out, turned it all on, got it fired up. I didn't bore you with that. I heated them, just the heads of the bolts, got them cherry red. Now this has got undercoating under it, and I thought that would ignite and be a problem, but I focused the heat just on the head. Now that transfer of heat will go through that bolt, but remember, when you heat something, it will expand. It's just how metal works. It'll get slightly larger, a couple thousandths. So to go at it right after you heat it sometimes works because it's expanded and broke the rust that's around it. I generally wait 10 minutes, let it cool back down, let that metal kind of shrink back in, and they came right out. So I got them red hot, each bolt. They came out super easy, but I haven't tried to pull this loose. I wanted to, but I turned the camera on. So let's see if we can get this nasty old thing off of here. Oh, it's still hung in one spot. Come on. Oh, nothing to it. Now I'm going to save this inner wheel core. Why wouldn't I? Because that's the way I was raised. Speaking of the way I was raised, at the end of the video, I got some stuff to talk about my grandfather and just some things that I learned. I'm a nostalgic kind of guy. But I'm going to save this because there's so much shape in it. This would be really hard to do in a shop for some other project, maybe another wheel well that I want to patch something on. I don't know. I just can't throw it away because this is a hard shape to make. You might use this for, I don't know, here's something right off the top of my head. If that fuel fill on the driver's side, if you relocate your tank, you want to fill that. Well, you end up beating on a piece of metal trying to get that bubble shape to it where you could cut a square out of this and it would be ready to roll. Fine tuning. So I'll save the old girl. Yeah, I'll stumble around and I'll trip on it 100 times, but that's what I do. At this point, we can get a lot better look at what we have. Now, again, this is the original Fender. I want to keep it. I don't want to repaint. It's in really good shape, best I can tell, except for the issue we have back here. We'll address that in a minute. I'm going to spend some time on this, getting the whirly birds out of it, and whatever else might be in there. Yeah, I'll sweep the floor. Just get in here and give everything a good scrub down. Pulled all these clip nuts out. Oh, those are in there good. But I want to get them off, even though they're in the right spot, because I want to coat behind it. You know me, tar coat. I want to tar coat both sides of it and get them really in good shape. But a lot of this, where it's pitted, I'll get in with a power brush, but this just helps me kind of get rid of the major debris, and I can kind of see what's going on. Now, I see there's some undercoating in here. Looks like, no, this looks like paint. Good coat of paint just up to here. I wonder how that happened. It was me. When I bought this truck, it was the only C10 I had at the time when I retired. And I had noticed that this pocket was getting kind of rusty. Now, it was on the vehicle and I had trash in there, so I cleaned it out. And because I was there, I got out the old 2-part epoxy paint and I painted it all up real good. So I got a good start going. It looks like this front pocket is really in good shape. Amazing. These things rust out terrible. Lots of rust in the seams where GM didn't do much to them. But you know, 52, 3, 4, 5, 7 years old. No, that's not that old. But anyhow, 55-ish. It held up pretty good. But we're going to scrub her down and get it in good shape. Get her all tar coated, get this all fixed up. I'm excited. I'm excited to do more work. Well, I am actually. Let's address this while we're here real quick. If I didn't have a second fender, I really don't know what I'd do. I'd probably go over to the truck and make a million measurements, come over here and make a bunch of measurements. It would be difficult. I ain't going to lie. It would be very difficult. But being that I have Tom's truck apart and the fender hanging on the wall, I pulled it down so we can look at that. All right, folks, this is Tom's fender. I got up on the truck bed right now. So this is the issue that's going to just make my job so much easier. We have several holes here that are the same as this one. Now, this is a remanufacture, but it was actually pretty good shape. Pretty nicely done. We've got our threaded hole with a zert nut in it. Now, I was wondering, because I actually haven't had one of these apart and seen what GM did. They used a Zert nut on the replacement. I don't know if GM did. No, GM didn't. They welded a large block of steel that they had threaded. I remember now, which would be a little tougher than the new ones with just a Zert nut. But we're going to undercoat the tar out of it. You get the pun there. So I can measure my top hole to this bottom hole, which is the threaded hole. And I have this reference hole here. Thank goodness that wasn't rusted out yet. So otherwise I'd have to use these and some other points on the fender. It would be more difficult. But I have this top hole. I can put a bolt in each of them, measure that way, maybe do center of hole, whichever way you would want to do it. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use Grandpa's calipers. We're going to talk about that at the end of the video. So I'm going to use a set of calipers, but whatever you got, a tape measure will work. From this hole to the hole that's rusted out to the bottom of the fender. Now the bottom of this fender might have moved a little with this rust jacking and all, but it gives us enough reference. I'm going to get it super close. And if you notice, being that it's there, I'll show you. This is Tom's truck, the 1968 in bright white. That's right, it's a C10 model. This is the hole you use to mount that fender. And it's a relatively large hole. And I'm assuming they did that so that when you put the fender on, you would have some movement so you could align things right and then clamp it tight. So you've got, I don't know, I'm not even going to get, yeah, I will. Why not guess? It looks like maybe a 7/8 hole. It might even be closer to 15/16. I don't know. But it's a pretty good size hole, so we don't have to be exact on our measurements, but let's get it close so we don't, what if I put it in there and I'm right on this edge, but I want a little more? That would be irritating. So we have some room. This is where it mounts. Good visual there. Back over to the fenders. Back over here to the fenders, the 68 and the 72. They're the same. I'm sure of it. I'm going to measure them just real quick. Give me a guideline. Give you an idea. But from the bottom of the fender to the center of that hole is, boy, it's 3.5, just like that. The threaded bolt to the bottom of the fender is 2 inches. That's some pretty handy measurements. All right, so let's go over here and go with the 3.5 from the top hole to the bottom. See, that got either a little bondo or a little rust. I'm just over 3.5. I can't even see this thing. I'm guessing, but I've looked at a tape measure a few years. I can guess. Yeah, it's more like 5/8. So we know that's off. We won't use that. But from top hole to bottom hole, well, I didn't measure between them. It is 1.5 inches. These are all even numbers, handy. So we can go 1.5 inches down from this hole. And there's where the center of our new hole has to be. Again, I'll use calipers. And then we'll do a sideways measurement from there's a fold on there. That's not an even measurement. Well, it's 1 3/4 to the center. What do we got here? 1 3/4 to the center. So we're going to get her spot on. I just have to determine how much of this I want to cut out and replace with metal. None of these folds or anything are important. I think they were just stamped for strength. So that's going to be a pretty easy repair. I say easy, it's just going to take a lot of time I don't have this kind of sheet metal around and I'm not a good sheet metal guy. I'll go with some flat stock and weld in here and I'll show you when I'm done. It won't be gorgeous, but again, nobody's ever going to see this and it'll be stronger than ever because I have heavy steel here in the shop. Wrapping this up a little bit, but I did come across some things I wasn't expecting or happy with. So I've outlined here where I'm going to cut this metal out. Now, I'm a little thin near this hole, but I want that reference hole there. So I'm going to go right up to the bottom of it and up this side. That'll give me enough good metal. It's still strong in there. This will all get replaced down around this lip. I have to get that rust out of there still. And then I will tuck it under there and we'll pinch that down on the new metal. I have to think about my procedure here because once I cut this metal out, I got good access to the back side of this fender. I want to clean that up some more, get my tar in there really good. Then I'll start covering it back up. Then I'll reach on the inside where my fingers are at here. Yeah, right here. You can see them. And I'll try and cover the back of that best I can with a brush. And then I'll spray it just to make sure I coated that well. Not a big issue. Up at the top, it's not terrible, but I'm going to clean it up and I'm going to cover all my rust with this. Now, I'm not saying it's the only thing or the best thing. It's just, again, what I've got local and I've been happy with it. So a little tiny brush, just work that in everywhere. 2 coats minimum. Now, there is some tomfoolery going on here. Somebody has had this fender, maybe not off, but it's been worked on. The mounting holes up here at the fender top, this one's been wallered out, or I don't know what they use because it's real bumpy. It's almost like they used a saw. But at any rate, they've hollowed that top out a little larger. They must have had a problem with something as well. Might have been this issue down here they didn't deal with. It's not a big deal. I didn't notice it being an issue. We're going to leave it. It doesn't hurt anything. There's a large washer on the outside, but I'm going to coat that well. And then where this, I don't know what you call it, this inner lip mounts to the outer fender, way up in there where you can't see. I had to get a flashlight and get my face right up in there. There's more rust up there than I care for, so I'm going to chisel and pick and get it as clean as I can. And then what? What am I going to do later? Tar coat it, of course. The front's not too bad. I'm going to move you over here and look at this. This is a little worse than I expected, but it's not horrible. And I'll tell you how I'm going to deal with it. So up in here, everything's lapped. It's just the way they did everything. And I know they didn't put any, well, they spot welded it. So there's really nothing between the metals. And that holds water and it rusts. But this little piece here they put in, they bent a lip in it so it goes under this piece. And it just has a few spot welds in it, maybe 4. And you can see right there where the rust has gotten between it, starting to eat it away a little bit. I don't know how I'm going to clean that exactly. I'm not tearing this apart. That would be ridiculous. Same thing with this folded part from the front. This second piece or third piece, what do you call it, comes in behind here too, and it is spot welded along this lip. And you can see how it's jacked up and there's some rust between it. I'm going to have to get in there with a small screwdriver or something, clean it out. You could hit this with a hammer and dolly behind here, and that would break a lot of that rust out. I might use my needle scaler and vibrate it, and that'll knock a bunch out. I think I'm going to seam seal down inside there really good. Then I'll hammer it down and swipe my seam seal on the outside. So it'll be kind of in there. It's the best I can do. Seam seal this. Now I realize if you seam seal this, you've stopped the water from this side, but remember the back side water can get in too. I can't see in there, and it's bumpy and crusty. I might just gob a bunch of tar in there. I don't know what else to do with it, but I'll do the best I can, and that's all anybody can hope for. So that's it for this fender. So we have Tom's fender from the 1968 C10 in bright white. We've got that set up here on our makeshift table, which is actually the C10 bed as well. But I notice here I haven't got to tar coating the inside of this. I wanted to let my paint dry real good on everything else before I got in here with the tar. So while I got it up here on the table, I might as well tar coat all this back in here. And yeah, you've seen me do that. And I'll do that at the end of the video because that's where I'm at. But I want to show you 2 more things, and then we'll get to work on this. So here at the door, I've spent my last 10 minutes on it. Well, I think it's ready for paint. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, that doesn't look like it's ready for paint. When I say that in my shop, what I mean is it's ready to get painted, and my paint procedure is to seal. I use a sealer, a primer sealer, and I pretend like it's paint, and I put it on the whole thing. And unless I come up with something that I can't live with, I'll let that dry 20 minutes, and then I can start putting paint on it, which is how the directions say you can. If when I use that sealer, primer sealer, on this, if there's anything I just can't stand, it's not a big deal. I let that dry off. I fix that one little spot, then lightly scuff everything up again, and you can go right into paint. So not a big deal. It adds a step, but it just gives me that last chance of saying, wait a minute, before I spend a bunch of money on paint. Because even using rattle cans on this door, I'll use a can and a half, maybe 2, because I'm going to put a few layers on there. Well, 2 cans of that paint now is like 25 bucks just to paint a door, just for the paint. So things are getting expensive. We could talk about that in another video because I have bought things that have doubled and tripled in price. And part of it is this primer sealer we've talked about. That went up just a couple bucks. But the salt etching primer went up 7 or 8 bucks a can. Heck, it was only 10 bucks to start with. So we're not here to complain about prices. Now, I brought you guys back here to this bunch of stuff just more for nostalgic purposes and to talk about a few things that I have here. This is the stuff I use on my lathe. This is all my grandfather's stuff. Yeah, I think all of it is. I didn't get a lot from Grandpa. I was very young, quite young, kind of young when he passed away many years ago. And these are things that most people just don't use in day to day life or in their garages. I don't remember how I ended up with them. Likely my parents grabbed it thinking of me. Anyhow, thank you for whoever got this to me, Mom, Dad, Grandpa, for having this. He was a tool and die maker at GM for many moons. Matter of fact, a moon or two longer than they wanted him to. He just couldn't quit. Kind of a workaholic. I can't imagine how anybody would be a workaholic. But cool stuff. 1, 2, 3 blocks. Now they're getting a little dirty, is why I got them out. Getting some surface rust on them. I didn't take care of them as good as I could have. Maybe they were rusty when I got them, but not this bad. Just real quick for those of you that have stuff like this is 1 inch wide, and I mean exactly by 2 by 3, and that's why they call them 1, 2, 3s. And these holes are for locating. I'll show you in a second. You can't sand these down because you're going to change the exact dimensions of them. I mean, they're sharp edge. These are precision tools for tool and die making, which I don't do, but I do use them. So I'm going to try vinegar on them. Just try to be gentle with them and get them cleaned back up. They don't have to be shiny perfect. I just need them cleaned up because that rust is actually changing the dimensions by a couple thou too. So those are neat. They sit on some of these other blocks, all these holes, pinned locations. You can build whatever contraption you need for whatever tool he was making. I don't know, but some of these tools are good for measuring the inside of a hole so you can get it exactly. Then you transfer this to your micrometer and measure it. Precision tools on the lathe, you want to make sure things are to the thousandth, thereabouts. These are timeless, likely older than I am, and they'll last forever if they're well taken care of. And they're due for a light coat of oil and a little bit of cleanup. And then the last part over here is a dial indicator. I don't know if Grandpa made this, but I know he used it a million times. It's like I exaggerate when I say a million, but there may be more. The adjustability of this is endless of what all you can spin and turn this. And you want it to be on something round, obviously. And when you're spinning a round part on your lathe, it just tells you how around you are. This needle will move. Extremely sensitive, very, very intricate measurements. So I'm going to clean this up. I got a job coming in the future. It's the only reason I wanted to show you this stuff and say thank you, Grandpa. Rest in peace. So let's go over and start some tar coating and wrap this week up. Well, folks, that was another week of working with Darren, and I want to get this tar coated, but I'm kind of excited about things in the future. I talk about it. That's what gives us the, you know, the feeling, I don't know how to word it, just to keep us going. Sometimes you get a little tired of working on things and want to work on something more fun, always something more fun. But I ordered those extended mini wheel tubs for this. I'm telling you, like 3 weeks ago. I'm not even exaggerating. As a matter of fact, if I don't get them, let's see, what day is it? If I don't get them this weekend, Monday morning, I'm going to be calling and checking on it. And I'm not that guy. Where's my parts? I mean, I'm seriously not that guy. But when you order, I'll tell you the company, if I don't get my stuff by Monday. When you order stuff from a named company that sells these car parts, I mean, they sell fenders and everything for these trucks and other vehicles. And these days, 3 weeks without even a notice, it's a little extreme, I think. But I'm going to give them a couple more days just to be fair. But I want to get them done. I want to do them. I want to get that box kind of started and put back together. I want to start working on that fuel fill. That'll be a good time. Yeah, that'd be a little bit of colorful language on that, I'm sure. But I mean, I think it will be a good, fun video. It'll be fun to do. Wheel tubs are going to be great. I'm looking forward to knowing how they're going to make them fit the bottom of the floor. Curiosity is killing me on that. But I guess patience is a virtue, and I'm a pretty patient guy, but I do have my limits, as we all do. So that's coming up in the future. What else is exciting coming up in the future? Well, this Fender basically done will be tonight before I leave the shop, if not tomorrow. But anyhow, I'll have this done relatively quickly, and we can get this Fender on the truck. Then we got to do the door first. I'm not thinking it all through, but we'll get the door on, which is going to be. I might even paint that this weekend, so we can get that door put on there. It needs a couple days dry time, so none of this is going to happen in the next day or two, maybe not even next week, but within the next several weeks. It's February. The weather's. I mean, we had a 34, 5, 6 degree day today. I don't remember what it turned out to be. It was kind of nice, a little windy, but you start seeing the sun a little more, and you get excited about summertime coming. And I want to get this truck together. I want to see it driving down the road. I want to hear that exhaust that we built months ago, right? So that's coming up. Getting a hood on this thing, it's going to look like a truck for real then. I'm quit moving the truck hood around the shop. Eventually, I'm going to scratch it if I don't quit moving it. But I've always got something new going on. You know me. Oh, I didn't show you my wood pile. Dang it, I wanted you to see my wood pile. Can you see it over there? I'll just turn the camera up real quick. I got my wood all restacked, so I'm ready for the end of February. Oh, you can see it over there in the top left. Got a nice pile of wood. I mean, I'm situated pretty well right now. I'm in good shape for what? Wheel tubs. If they would just come in, for crying out loud. Whatever. It's not like I need them today or tomorrow. I've ordered them. I mean, it's going to be another couple months before the truck's going to be done, but I don't want to be waiting on. Yeah, I'm not going to be waiting on them. It's just the excitement. It's just I want to work on them. I want to see how they turn out. Heck, I think I paid for them. I think they took the money out of my. They didn't waste any time taking my money. Well, it's Tom's money. I'm sure he's paid enough to cover those by now. And by the way, if I ever talk about that, I don't know how much I say with stuff like that. I just talk without thinking. But when I talk about Tom and I and our deal here, trust me, this is a good deal. We're both happy. Whenever I've asked for money, tell him I'm getting in kind of deep on this. That guy don't even waste time. I tell him, in the next couple of weeks or a month or so, I'm not in a hurry. No, Tom's got me cash in hand within the next couple of days. So he's been wonderful about that. He's one of the best people I worked for in my life. God, I didn't think about him working for him. That changes the dynamic now. It's not as much fun. Just kidding, Tom. A great guy to work for, work with, whatever you want to say it. We farmed together for, I don't know, many years. Never kept track. 10, 15 anyway. So good dude. Great to work for. He's not one of them guys that's like, well, I didn't like how you did that. Could you redo it all the time? I mean, I wouldn't even mind that once or twice, but sometimes you get a customer. I don't care if you're a full-time business or not. Whenever you do something for a friend or a neighbor, seems like some of them are just never happy with what you're doing, even though you're doing them a favor. So try not to be one of them guys. Both sides. I'm not sure I'd want to work for me. I don't take as many breaks as most people want. Why are you sitting around? We got work to do. Okay, well, I'm carrying on, but I'm excited about the truck. I hope you guys are getting excited. I know this rebuilding trucks the way I do them, with the detail I put into them. It ain't a quick endeavor by no means. But if you want a finished product that's similar to what I do, you're going to have to put this amount of time into it. That's just no other way to it. I don't mind it. It's just maybe not the best for videos. I watch other videos. I don't know if I've mentioned that to you, because I don't get enough C10s during the day working on these. I'm one of them kind of guys. I'll sit home at night and drink a cup of coffee. Well, sure, I might watch TV with the wife once in a while, but I'm not a Hallmark guy. Some of them shows are actually kind of good. Most of them don't interest me all that much, if I'm being honest. Sit there watching TV with the wife, and pretty soon that show's over. I'm not interested in the next one, and I'm playing on my phone. And before I know it, I'm watching some guy working on an old C10. And what's really cool is when I watch those guys, they do things different than I do. I'm not one of them commenters. I'm not one of those guys gets on there and tell them they're doing it wrong. You're doing it all wrong. You're not doing it the way I do it. No, for one, I don't care how they do it. For two, it's their business. They own it. They can do what they want. Mind your own business, and I'm minding my business. And for three, not everybody wants this kind of truck. You guys are really going to laugh. For those of you that stick around for my next build, and there will be another one, it's going to be, I don't want to use names. It's going to be one of them. You guys are going to shake your head and think, this guy. I've been watching this guy who's Mr. Ham Brush every little thing, every nook and cranny, and I'm Mr. Everything's got to be just so. Yeah, I know. My wife's watching the video right now. She don't believe me. But my next build's going to be kind of a slap it together, get it on the road. Sure, get these issues taken care of and do them as best as you can. But to spend the time to just nook and cranny and make sure I'm never going to have any rust anywhere, that next truck's not going to be that. I'm going to come in here, tape things off, and just spray undercoating in it, call it good enough. It's going to be fine. It's going to be a driver. I'm not hiding anything. When I sell it, I'll show the people the video. They're welcome to watch it. But I'm not going to put this kind of work into a vehicle that I'm never going to see again. I don't know how it's going to get treated. And it's not going to sell for the price that these go for. So it's just a matter of what you're building, what you're doing that day. I don't mind a guy who just throws an LS in one and drives it the way he got it out of the junkyard. Cool. Good for him. So enough babbling. Thanks for visiting with me this week. We'll see you guys again next week. You know what? It doesn't matter. I got to go.